So I know that it's not new news. However, we did get the big update, and I guess you can call it a big update from Gemini regarding all their cryptic posts regarding XRP, and it's basically just a credit card with the XRP logo on it. Now, it's not that simple. There's definitely a lot more to it. However, I was hearing from a lot of people saying that it's a very intense KYC sort of protocol to go through to get this card. I don't know too much about it. I don't have crypto credit cards at all. Am I against them? No, but I just don't see the point in myself holding one of these. However, I'm sure that a lot of you out there definitely see some value in having this credit card, which we'll go over why here in a moment. But right off the rip, we do have the big update introducing the Gemini Credit Card XRP Edition from Ripple, RLUSD, now supported for US spot trading, simplified trading, no extra conversion fees, fast and simple access to crypto and stable value, special edition designed for the XRP community as well. Now, here is the full update from Ripple XDev, which kind of gives us a little bit more of a breakdown. So pay with money, earn extra rewards back on your purchases, XRP. You get 4% XRP on gas, charging, and rideshare, 3% XRP on dining, 2% XRP on groceries, and 1% XRP on everything else. This is actually pretty cool. Listen, if you use a credit card all the time anyways for cash back, why wouldn't you want crypto back? I think that this is cool. I'm not going to get it. I just don't see me changing my business cards over to a crypto credit card, but I still think that this is great to see. And it's available today, limited edition, US only. A lot of people didn't like the idea that it was US only, but with regulations, I definitely see the reason why. But again, this is a pretty cool update, and this is what the card looks like. Again, it's a substantial, it's a substantial update for sure. It's not like it's a massive news event that, everyone's going to be extremely excited about and the price is going to go crazy or anything like that. But again, it is something cool, and it's a little bit more of an addition to the XRP ecosystem that we can, get behind. I think that this is great to see. Now, on top of this, we did see David Schwartz post about it. He was talking about his XRP belt with his XRP t-shirt, holding an XRP rewards credit card at XRP, or Espresso, if you will. And I think that this is actually pretty cool. It's funny to see this, but again, I think that it's just a very, very nice addition for the retail sector to earn XRP on everyday purchases. And I just don't see how this would be a bad thing. Now, on top of that, Brad Garlinghouse did say an XRP rewards credit card out in the world. What a time to be alive, XRP family. Use the special edition Gemini card for everyday purchases and earn up to 4% XRP back. And yeah, he also did link the Gemini link as well to go and check out the card. So again, I think that this is good for XRP. I also think that it's good for RLUSD because RLUSD is now supported for US spot trading as well. And that's like the main focus here. I want to focus on more expansion of the stablecoin because again, not a lot of people, think about stablecoins at this point because I know that we talk about them all the time. They're not that big of a hit with a lot of people because they don't see the value of stablecoins. They think that stablecoins are bad and, why do we have to use a stablecoin? Why can't we just use XRP? But I want you guys to realize that stablecoins are very beneficial for XRP as well from a demand and value perspective. And if we're thinking about RLUSD, so far it's been an incredible year for RLUSD. We added, if we think about where we were at back in the beginning of the year, we added over $600 million to RLUSD's total value, which we're sitting at about almost $700 million, up almost 20% in the last 30 days, $3.51 billion in monthly transfer volume, up almost 16%. And now with the addition of this is just more markets for RLUSD to cover. And I'm very excited about this. And also, by the way, in the last 30 days, the value on XRP is up 30+% compared to the 17%, almost 18% on Ethereum. So it seems as though the value is starting to trickle in on the XRP ledger as well, which I think everyone should be pretty excited about as well. Now, let's go over here to what Reese Merrick recently put out, which, by the way, this is the senior executive officer and managing director of the Middle East and Africa for Ripple. He did say that the stablecoin market, currently valued at approximately $300 billion, is projected to experience significant growth, potentially reaching 1.2 trillion by 2028, with some forecasts reaching up to 2.8 trillion by 2028. This robust expansion, underpinned by regulatory advancements like the US Genius Act and growing fintech integration, reflects stablecoins' rising role in providing stability and liquidity across volatile financial ecosystems. As stablecoins become a key part of global financial infrastructure, the next wave of adoption will be driven by utility and institutional demand, and Ripple is perfectly positioned to capture this growth. Check out our latest partnership with SBI VC, who are launching ROUSD in Japan, providing a reliable, regulated, and fully backed stablecoin tailored for enterprise applications. Now, to build on top of this, we did get a big update regarding when this ROUSD Japan expansion is going to be underway. Big shout out to Smoke Dog for this. We have here that just in, SBI Japan announces ROUSD distribution will officially begin March 31st of 2026. The commitment to regulatory clarity sets ROUSD apart from other stablecoins and provides the security that institutional partners demand. We are confident that this partnership will not only drive stablecoin adoption and utility in Japan, but also set a new benchmark for the entire market. And this is all documented within this document from SBI Holdings as well, which, hey, this is great to see. Again, I think going into 2026 and going forward as well, ROUSD is just going to grow more and more and more and more, and I'm very happy about this because, again, if you hold XRP, you should understand how stablecoins work. You should understand why stablecoins are so crucial for these networks. It's the same exact reason why I've always, like when we go back to Bitcoin, right? I've always utilized this idea as an example. If Tether never existed, Bitcoin would not be as valuable as it is today, right? Because again, the value tied to Tether on Bitcoin has significantly increased network demand and network activity, which caused a network effect on Bitcoin that surged the value. It's the same reason why a lot of people say, oh, look at, Tether just minted 1 billion USDT. They're about to pump Bitcoin because a lot of that value is tied back to Bitcoin. It's the same exact reason why when we look at ROUSD, we're looking at the network effect that it could have on XRP. And it could definitely be massive. It could definitely start to, impact XRP's value as well. But we need to see a lot more, right? Because again, they're, releasing clips of 1 billion USDT at a time. Right now, we're only seeing clips of about like 1 million, upwards of like, sometimes 20 million ROUSD. And even right now, the total value of ROUSD is not even $1 billion. But this tells us that we're just getting started with ROUSD. So we are in for some very big announcements around ROUSD and stablecoins around the XRP ledger going forward. And by the way, the XRP ledger only has 3 stablecoins currently on it, expected to have about 7 or so. And if we're thinking about that, we shouldn't just be focused on ROUSD. We should also be focused on all the other stablecoins coming to the XRP ledger ecosystem that's also going to bring value to it and even volume, which could definitely lead to an even larger network effect, which could definitely impact the value of XRP in the mid to long term time frame. But beyond that, we also have over here from High Vibe Assets, ROUSD is bigger than you think. Bang, total stablecoin transfer volume reached $27.6 trillion in 2024, surpassing the combined transaction volume of Visa and MasterCard. Bang. Of course, it's documented. Here we have from, I think this is the Ripple website. Yeah, this is the Ripple website regarding stablecoin remittances. And we have here, for an example, instead of initiating a traditional remittance payment through Western Union or MoneyGram, someone in the US can send money to a family member in the Philippines by purchasing a stablecoin like Ripple's ROUSD through a digital wallet or exchange. The stablecoin is then transmitted across a blockchain network directly to the recipient's wallet, where it can either be held, spent, or exchanged into local currency. All of this can happen in minutes, not days, and with far fewer fees in between. And that's the difference here when we think about stablecoins and the underlying networks in which they are issued out on. And we also have the total stablecoin transfer volume reached 27.6 trillion in 2024, surpassing the combined transaction volume of Visa and MasterCard, and they have grown 28% year over year. Currently speaking, if we're thinking about, stable coins, just take a quick look. Let's go and look at the transfer volume, and I want to go yearly. I just want to look at this because again, we have 27.3 trillion in 2024. In 2025, we're at $21.5 trillion, and we still have 4 months left in the year at an average of about 3.5. I mean, if we are looking at, let's look at the monthly transfer volume real quick. Just taking a quick look at the monthly transfer volume, I'll just say going off of like the lowest point, 2 trillion. We're destined to add about like roughly $8 trillion to this current value. So we will be at almost $30 trillion in yearly transfer volume for stablecoins in crypto. That is an absolute insane stat to think about. Again, that's crazy. And RLUSD is really carving out a big piece of this space. And I do think that it's destined to grab a large portion of this demand as well. Reason why? Well, let's go over here. We have here breaking. Goldman Sachs and BNY are moving a $7.1 trillion money market industry onto blockchain using digital tokens. And yes, they've also partnered with Ripple and XRP. The future of finance is here. And this is from Zafe Crypto. Check this out, guys.
Announcing today they are teaming up for a tokenized money product that could potentially transform the $7 trillion money market industry. This is interesting because stablecoins are kind of like money market. Anyway, joining us for more, CNBC banking reporter Hugh Sun, who broke this story. Hugh, so tell us about it.
Great to be with you, Kelly. Yeah, so lots of excitement over stablecoins because of what just passed last week, the Genius Act. And so notably, Citigroup, Bank of America, JP Morgan talking about issuing their own stablecoin. But what stablecoins can't do, and they don't do, is actually offer a yield. So part of the solution, and that BNY and Goldman Sachs, the reason why they're so excited about this innovation is that, if they have a future in which all these assets reside in the blockchain, they're going to be institutional players. Now, we're talking about hedge funds, we're talking about pensions, we're talking about, about corporate treasurers who are going to want to have a yield. And so it's essentially taking the money market industry, which is 7.1 trillion, bringing it to the blockchain and making it transferable in a way.
So help me understand this. How is this then different than a dollar, cash,
money,
or a short-term treasury bill, T-bill?
Yeah.
Well, what is this? Why do we need this?
Okay.
I know I'm dense. I'm struggling.
No, it's good to talk about, Ryan. So there is the idea, and it's not supported by everybody, that essentially you're going to have a stable coin with a yield as a result of this. And actually, some people are proponents of that. They think that's a good thing.
But how are they getting a yield? They're buying T-bills.
Well, it's just a money market. You've got money markets when you're in,
So the yield's going to be like 1 cent, infinitesimal, effectively.
I'm getting close to 3.8, 4%. Yeah, if you go for a money market with a high yield, you can do that. Yeah, and so there is a decent yield on this. Corporate treasurers would want to put their cash, instead of having it 0%, actually earning a yield close to 3-4%. That's the reason why they would want to do it. And so this is taking this asset, which is well trusted. It's gained maybe 2 trillion in the last 2 or 3 years, the rate hiking cycle, and turning it into a token. Why would you want that? You might ask. I mean, ultimately, the thinking is from these guys is that if a cash management situation, they actually want to raise funds. They want to sell this the money market fund instead.
And yeah, I mean, listen, when we think about it, stablecoins are going to be much larger than where they're at right now. I've said this so many times over in the past. And I think that it's very clear when we do listen to individuals like this, for an example, from some of the largest names out there in TradFi. This is no longer, a scenario where we're thinking about, I wonder if stablecoins are going to be much larger than what they are today. No, they're destined to be. They're almost guaranteed to be larger than what they are today because we know that adoption is not going to slow down. We know that it's only going to accelerate more and more and more. And if we're thinking about that, and then we think about BNY Mellon's recent post on July 9th, which by the way is pinned on their X account of them being selected to custody Ripple USD reserves, it's very clear that Ripple is becoming a much larger player in the world of not just crypto and digital finance, but also even You know, TradFi. I mean, it's crazy to think about this, but again, this is why we say that ROUSD and what Ripple is doing, this has always been planned. They're working with the biggest names out there. It's hard not to be extremely excited about where this space is headed. And with all of these recent announcements and with all of these recent expansions, even, you know, the credit card, I know that this isn't really anything that special. However, when we're thinking about what this offers, and on the back end of this, with ROUSD being tapped in with Gemini, which is one of the largest crypto exchanges, you can kind of see how this benefits everyone involved, which is, you know, Ripple, the stablecoin, even XRP, and the XRP community. I mean, this is very exciting stuff, but this is a small announcement compared to some of the other larger ones. But again, if we're thinking about this, being an XRP holder, we should be paying attention to everything happening here. So even some of these smaller announcements are still very important. But the main thing that we are looking at here is just how large the stablecoin market is forecast to become. You know, it has over 20 some trillion dollars in yearly volume being pushed through it. I still think that ROUSD could carve out a large portion of this. We still look at, you know, what's been like the largest player here in terms of networks. You know, Solana was one of the largest networks here with 11.4 billion or 11.4 trillion dollars tied to it alone. I do think that XRP will start to really climb the ranks. I mean, right now, if we look at the XRP ledger, it's about $1.2 billion in the last year that's been moved over the XRP ledger through stablecoins. I see that value climbing significantly over time. And I do expect to see it on the top of this list where, you know, Ethereum is moving $9.1 trillion in the last year, Tron 4.6, Solana 3.3 almost, BNB 2.2. Just imagine once XRP is moving trillions of dollars, and I do think that we'll get there. I mean, if some of these networks are already doing it, XRP is destined to as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord on the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.